that just pleases me. That just pleases me. You know, when your kid who's 2 years old takes an orange crayon to a piece of blank paper and draws you the pretty picture, and they come up and they say, "Hey, Mom, this is for you." What do you do with that thing? Man, you put that in the home archive of great documents known as the refrigerator door, and it's up there. You say, you know, my son did that, and that pleases me. My little girl did that, and that just, I love that. It's not that we do these things so we become acceptable to God. We are already His children. And the choices that we make, the way that we choose to follow Him or follow our own way, gives God pleasure. Can we comprehend that? That it gives God pleasure. One of my little guys last year when he was 5 years old got to play in his first year of soccer. Have any soccer moms, soccer dads, kids that have played soccer? You know, you watch the skill and knowledge of the game that 5-year-old soccer kids have, you know? They sit here in a little scrum and they just kick this little ball. They've got these goals about as wide as the speaker here, you know, and there's no skill. They're just out there chasing a ball and kicking it. Well, my buddy Zach, his team was dominating. I'm telling you, they were dominating. And they kept on kicking the ball into their goal. And after one particular time, the ball went in the goal, and one of the kids from the opposite team just stood there in front of the goal and just hung his head. He was not enjoying himself. The little man was devastated. And everyone goes back to midfield. They're going to start again, and my buddy Zach turns around. And my 5-year-old son sees that kid in need. And he starts walking back. And I'm thinking, oh boy, this is what just pleases Daddy's heart. To go beyond the externals of the game. And he came up and he just looked that little boy in the face and he just goes, "It's 5-1. And then walks back. Then that's when a daddy wants to go, "Whose kid is that?" I don't know. Now, if he would have done what I thought he was going to, your heart just would just go, you're doing the right things. It's not just that you're kicking a soccer ball. You're doing the right things, and it's well-pleasing, and it brings me pleasure. The other thing is that Paul says, you know what, when we serve Christ in this way, the kingdom, not the externals, not embracing our freedoms and our liberties, but when we serve Christ in this way, he says that we are also approved by men. Well, as a follower of Christ, Greg, why should I be concerned about the opinions of men? Because sometimes it matters. The word approved comes from the Greek word dokimos. And it means to have a favorable opinion or to be judged as acceptable. This is what Donald Gray Barnhouse writes in his book on Romans. He goes, in the ancient world, there was no banking system as we know it today, no paper money. All money was made from metal, heated until liquid, poured into molds, and allowed to cool. When the coins were cooled, it was necessary to smooth off the uneven edges. The coins were comparatively soft, and of course, many people shaved them closely, whittled them down. Kind of like our common day IRS tax forms, you know what I'm saying? Okay, how some people will do that. In 1 century, more than 80 laws were passed in Athens to stop the practice of whittling down the coins that were then used in circulation, to try and devalue the item, but get maximum value back. He goes on, he goes, but some money changers were men of integrity who would accept no counterfeit money. They were men of honor who put only genuine full-weight money into circulation. Such men were called dokimos. And this word is used here for the Christian as he is to be seen in the world. You see, people, when we have a kingdom mindset, When our priority is Christ, and all other things start to flow out of that. And when we serve Christ in that way, not only does God sit back and just go, that makes me pleased, but it also impacts people. And people look back and they watch your life and they just say, you know what, there is something about that person. When I see their actions, when I see their life, when I hear their words, when I watch them live, there is something about it. And even if they do not know that you're a follower of Christ, but there is something effective in your life as Christ is working your life, they look upon that and they just go, you know what? I am giving that life an opinion. I am judging that life, and that's an acceptable life. God is doing something in that person's life. That's the benefit, people, of walking with Christ. And he sends you into places like the marketplace, where money can be shaved, or you can be men and women of integrity. And he sends you into homes, and he sends you into neighborhoods, and he even sends you here. And what happens is, as Christ is working in your life, we leak Jesus. And people see it. And they don't look upon us and just say, gosh, they just bicker and fight over all sorts of opinions and their preferences. But instead, there's something dynamic and powerful going on. And they see mature men and women of God who love him. And they love people. And their life is distinctively different. Not because of something they can do by pulling them up by their own bootstraps, but Christ is transforming them. And it shows up. Paul goes on to say, so then we pursue the things which make for peace and for the building up of one another. Last week at our house, we went over this specific passage at dinner. We had my two oldest girls home, and we had all 11 of us around the table. And I went over this first half of this verse in 19. And I started off with this question. Maybe you have this in your household too. I don't know. But I said, hey guys, do you think that we're kind of a competitive family, that we have a lot of competitors in your? Oh yeah, absolutely. Sure, Dad. No, I said it first. No, I said it first. Yes, we are a highly competitive family. And, when I come home after work, I usually have 3 or 4 kids come running out of the kitchen to the garage door. Dad, Dad, Dad. And it's like, oh, this is so good. And it's like, and pushing each other out of the way. Who gets the first hug? And I saw him first. And it's like, oh, my goodness. Being highly competitive has its advantages. It is a disaster for relationships. And in the Gilbaugh household, we need to work on this. And so we said, we want to make this a place where you are built up. You want to impact your family?